one thing I think what we began with and what we are possibly ending in with the fag end of this conversation is the Mamu factor could really prevail. But will the Muslims vote for the Congress, even knowing that the Congress doesn't have the might to defeat the BJP? Will they ally with the Shiv Sena? There are also parties like the AIMIM which are hoping to represent their interests. And will they go with the AIMIM, a third party, where they think that maybe their interests are represented? Sudhir Suryavanshi, final comments.
See, in this election also, Thackeray versus Shinde, there are 87 seats. While the Thackeray versus BJP, there are 97 seats. As Sahil has rightly pointed out, last time BJP has made major dent in the Marathi votes. But in 2017, I covered the election that time. I didn't find that much resonance among the Marathi voters, and the Thackeray were not able to touch the court. Uddhav Thackeray got 84 seats in the BMC due to strong shakas and his corporate work and strong candidate. But this time I am seeing the resonance among the Marathi voter because of Thackeray brother joining the hand. Whether that will really make the difference, that is the most important thing. Second important thing, Muslim voter were consolidatedly voted to Mahavikas Aghadi, means Congress and Uddhav Thackeray in Mumbai. But a local election, these votes will get divided among the many multiple parties like MIM, NCP, to NCP, then Congress, there is Vanchit Aghadi, there is Uddhav Thackeray is there. So whether this 18 to 20% votes, where it will go, if it get divided in the large number, and I think then it is very tough for the Thackeray to come back.
Okay. So, well, interesting, Rajdeep, because we've been talking about now two big issues that are emerging of all the factors that we discussed, and we discussed 5 big factors that could influence this election. 2 biggest ones, the Mamu factor, the Muslim Marathi vote coming together, and who it could impact. And number 2, the class divide and the voter turnout are 2 most talked about factors. And Sahil, correct me if I'm wrong, you can come in, but Rajdeep, you've spoken, right in the beginning about the Mamu factor. Want to reflect on the class and the voter turnout impact on the results?
Look, I think what is one of the most interesting factors, Preeti, in BMC elections is that the more affluent areas hardly vote. The lowest voting percentages are those where the per capita income is the highest, the areas like Malabar Hill. Who goes and votes? The poor vote. That happens in most elections, but in BMC that gets even more accentuated. And that is where, as I said, local factors will matter. If I'm a Shakha Pramukh, a branch head of the Shiv Sena who's working closely with people in a chawl or a slum, I might have an advantage in an election like this. Let me also point out one more factor that perhaps I ignored earlier while you were asking me the 5 big factors, which is resources. The amount of money that some candidates have and their links with real estate is quite staggering. We've been given amounts of how much people are willing to pay for one vote that are quite shocking and just reveals the high stakes involved in an election like this. So maybe if you go to a poorer area and you're willing to distribute that kind of money to win votes, who knows what impact that can have on the final election, election results of Mumbai.
Okay, all right. Okay, Shankar Iyer, I think we've tried to get you back again.
Well, this is the DPS election, basically valuation of all of this will things that have not been discussed.
Sir, we can hardly hear you. We can't hear you, sir. We've tried 3 times over. This election, your vote, at least on the channel, is disqualified because we can't hear you. There's an issue there. Sahil, final comments.
Well, I'll just put forward 5 points which I have just jotted down, after the whole conversation. The first and foremost, even if Devendra Fadnavis is the one who will pull out votes for the BJP in Mumbai, despite that, the consolidation of the Marathi-speaking votes in Mumbai is going to be the key factor in the upcoming BMC elections. If the 2 brothers manage to snatch 70% of the chunk, 60 to 70% of the chunk of the Marathi-speaking voters, then they will have an edge. The second factor, which is going to be the Hindutva, the original pitch of Balasaheb Thackeray, now the BJP is pushing forward to it. If the BJP manage to push it forward thoroughly, then they will retain those kind of votes, at least in Mumbai. The third factor, which I think is going to be the selling of the triple engine, which which the BJP always tries to do in the state elections, the double-engine one. Here in Mumbai, the triple engine, whether it works or not, that is something which is going to be important. The fourth factor is going to be the Muslim votes, which have been going to Shiv Sena UBT since Lok Sabha and Assembly elections. Now this time, the Congress fighting against the Shiv Sena UBT and MNF alliance, whether the Congress pulls those Muslim votes towards them, that is going to be the last. And the last one is the vote percentage, which I had already mentioned.
The vote percentage. Okay, 5 factors that Sahil pulled out. Yashwant Deshmukh, you want to come in? Because of the 5 factors that Sahil gave, and just to reflect on that, the counter of Hindutva, and if Uddhav Thackeray is getting the Muslim votes, then he also stands to lose a fair amount of Hindutva votes.
Well, on the entire debate on Hindutva and secular politics will be upside down after the results are out, simply because if the Thackeray brothers win, I mean, if Raj Thackeray and Uddhav Thackeray winning together means a win for secularism, then it tells you the times we are living in, Preeti. All right. I mean, let's be
Fair
honest
point.
about it.
Totally. And I think somebody just needs to reflect back in political history to understand the context that Yashwant's trying to make.
So that's, having said that, psychologically speaking, I would be very much looking at the fact that this contest might be very much bipolar in nature. And in the previous elections, we have seen almost 30 to 40% votes in Mumbai municipality going to others, independents and smaller parties. That chunk is going to be shrinking further.
Okay.
If that happens, it might also give us an idea how the future of Indian politics is going to evolve in terms of one nation, one election, that bipolarization process that we have been looking at in many of these elections in past that we have covered together. That, the third parties or the independents or the smaller parties, their space is shrinking. Will Mumbai municipality election will be any different from that? That
remains to be seen. Okay. Sudhir Suryavanshi, very short, sir. Final points.
See, I just say 2 lines of fear factor among the Marathi voter. If non-Thackeray political party come in power in BMC, they will lose, or the Marathi will lose the Mumbai. That is fear factor down there, and the continuation dominance of the non-Marathi will continue in Mumbai. That is first thing. Second thing, during the Balasaheb Thackeray, there was an entire generation who was emotionally connected to him and his speeches. They loved, they danced, they do everything on the Balasaheb Thackeray's tour. But there are Gen Z voters, nobody has talked about it, whether to whom they are connected. I think Aditya Thackeray and Amit Thackeray are trying to connect these Gen Z voters, and because these are very aspirant class, these are very development oriented class. If they want to see these 2 Thackeray as a bringing them as a for the development,
so it's them. Okay. Jayant Menkar, very quick, sir. Quick interjection. Go ahead. Okay, we don't have Jayant Menkar. Do we? Jayant Menkar, you have one very quick intervention, sir.
Yes.
Make your point.
See, I mean, I agree that this unity among the Maharashtrian and the Marathi-speaking people, particularly these 2 brothers, is of course an important factor. But I agree that how to pull out the voters is most important. And in 2017, when there was a 55% voters turnout, if BJP succeeds in maintaining or increasing that, then they have.
So I think one thing, which is factor number 5 for Sahil, and it's something that we've looked at, which you're right, sir. If it is about 55%, that could be advantage BJP. Anything lesser than that, that could be disadvantage BJP or NDA rather.